What is up? What is up? This is what I like right here. See, when Uncle Mike do his own research and stuff, breaking news, y'all. Check this out, man. Victim 3 defies feds. Defies feds. What does that mean? Defies feds. Does not want to be anonymous. What does this mean? We about to find out, baby. Okay, what we got? Oh, let me do it like this. I'm gonna do it like what other people be doing. What we got is we got Diddy and Cassie. You know, we got Usher and Beaver and J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z and his wife. I'm looking for some different names, and Victim 3 has decided to let their name be said. So we got that surprise witness. What a surprise. Shout out to her with this one right here, man. And y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
Breaking news. It looks like we are going to actually find out one of the victims, alleged victims, identity in the Diddy trial. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so what you're looking at here is Diddy docket document number 303-303, and it was filed yesterday in the Southern District of New York. Now, this is Diddy's criminal case. So we were told many times, different ways previously, that these victims, other than alleged victims, other than victim one, who I think is Cassie, we think it's Cassie. Victim one is the one, there's allegedly footage that aired on CNN. That's why we think it's Cassie, or that's why I think it's Cassie. So even as recently as Friday, this past Friday, today's Wednesday, as recently as this past Friday, it was discussed in court whether or not these alleged victims were going to have to use their real names at trial, or whether they could go by, like Jane Doe or whatever. The judge has ordered it. They have even tried to revive the issue. The judge just kind of finally said no. And the reasons were it's going to be dangerous, it's going to be harmful, all this stuff that the government argued. Well, look at this filing right here, just yesterday. The government writes in response to the court's order seeking additional information regarding the use of a pseudonym for victim 3 at the upcoming trial. So April 22nd was last week too, but this was even a different time that it was brought up, April 22nd. This is not the same thing as the April 25th pretrial hearing that just happened. And there's going to be another one coming up soon too, by the way. Okay, so the government is writing, after they have argued back and forth over and over for a long time, trying to keep this victim 3's identity as a pseudonym. Here they are going, after conferring with that person's counsel, I don't know why I'm saying her, it could be a he, I really don't know the gender of victim 3, but it says, after conferring with victim 3's counsel, the government understands victim 3 does not wish to use a pseudonym during her testimony. I mean, okay, so first of all, good. I'm glad about that, because I think the people have the right to know who is testifying. Second of all, I'm glad this person is saying, I don't need to use a Jane Doe, John Doe name. No, I don't. Lawyer, tell them I'm going to use my name. So good for them, claps for them. I'm proud of them for that. They, obviously they did not have to do that, because they had already gotten, whoever this person is, had already gotten protected, had already gotten, I shouldn't say protected, but covered up, whatever the name, right? Redacted. That's what I meant. Okay. So that isn't the only development that we have with this alleged victim 3. Now, to remind you, alleged victim 3 is the person who is a former romantic partner of Diddy, or how did they describe it? In long-term relationships. Okay. So I took that to mean romantic relationships, physical relationships, whatever. So victims 1 through 3 all were in long-term relationships with Diddy. Victim 4 is a so-called long-term or long time, it might be term or time, I'm not really exactly sure, but a long, whatever, employee. So this person would have worked for Diddy for a long time. I think that could be either Christina Karam, maybe it could be Don Richard, maybe it could be somebody else. But if you will recall, if you've been keeping up with the Diddy docket videos, we did speak recently, I spoke recently on one of my videos that in reading one of these Diddy documents, or maybe it was the hearing notes or something, it was discussed something about a medical procedure. Something about a medical procedure. They were trying to, one side's trying to keep evidence of it in, one side's trying to keep evidence of it out. I don't exactly remember, but remember we're talking about that medical procedure, and I wondered whether it could be breast augmentation, because I do remember, something about that being brought up a few months ago. Well, some of y'all in the comments were saying, no, it's not breast augmentation. What it is an IUD. That's what some of y'all were saying. That's a medical procedure too. I didn't even think about that. I guess that could be anything. But a few of y'all did say that. You were adamant about that. Okay, so it was going to come up in trial, possibly. Something about this medical procedure. We got some new information. All right. So the document we just looked at, just for those keeping track, that was 303. Okay. We're going to go to a different docket number right now. It's actually the one right before this one. And I'm going to make an entirely separate video on that document. So I don't want to get into that document too much. I'm just telling y'all that is where it came from. We'll get into the substance of that document later, but I want to draw your attention to a particular footnote on document number 302, because not only does this footnote give us some information about victim 3, which is like the name they're calling, these are all alleged victims. Okay. But victim 3, not only do we get some new information about victim 3, but we also get more information about that medical procedure. Okay. And it did come as a bit of a surprise to me, because this is yet again the government, the feds, seemingly kind of walking back something that they had really kind of fought hard for. So here's the footnote in question right here. It's on the first page. It's footnote 1. The court also invited the government. So the court, at the most recent pretrial hearing, the court, Judge 𝗟𝗓𝗡𝗞𝗦, had invited the feds, the prosecutors, to, quote, submit a letter regarding its opposition to Diddy's motion to keep evidence out of victim 3's medical procedures. Okay, so a little hard to follow. So we're talking about Diddy filed a motion to keep the evidence of these medical procedures out. What are the medical procedures? We don't know. But Diddy said, no, the government cannot use the evidence of those medical procedures. Absolutely not. Filed a motion with the court. A motion, it's called a motion in limine. So files a motion with the court and says, no, keep that out. Nobody needs to bring in evidence of anybody's medical procedures. The government, the feds, they were arguing that the evidence of the medical procedures actually would help them to prove an element of the crime, and the element would be proof of the racketeering conspiracy. Now, I don't really understand their argument or their logic on that, and it's possibly because I just don't get it. It's possible that it was because it was a bad argument and it doesn't make sense, but it's also possible the reason I don't really fully understand exactly what they were all arguing about this medical procedure is because half the document was blacked out with redactions. They on purpose filed some of this stuff under seal, and the stuff that the public got to see, it was heavily redacted. After the government did all those paper filings, remember, like the feds, the government, especially if you're a United States taxpayer, these people work for us. The money that comes, into their check account each month to pay them and stuff, it's like public funds that are, it's like collected to pay them to run these things. So that's one of many reasons why they do owe us a certain level of duty to, be efficient. Like, why file all this stuff? It seems like a pretty expensive endeavor to argue for all this stuff, and then you just give up the argument. The court invited the government to submit a letter regarding opposing Diddy's motion, right? So they were invited by the court to oppose Diddy's motion, argue back against him, and say, no, you got to let the evidence of the medical procedures in. Look, the government no longer plans to elicit testimony at trial regarding victim 3's medical procedures. So they're giving that argument up. As a result, no question on the questionnaire regarding this topic is necessary. And Diddy's motion in limine to keep that evidence out is moot. Because remember, he was trying to keep the evidence out, and then we're going to argue about it, whatever. The government's like, no, we're giving it up. We're giving up. We gave it up. So that is all I had for this video. I wanted to tell you all about victim 3, and also just come back from time to time and check out what's going on the channel, because after a certain few videos a day, they just, understandably stop giving notifications. They don't want to blow you up all day. So just, check in every now and then and see what I'm posting in the lead up to trial. That's all I really have for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Oh, go to thatsurprisewitness.com and get your merch. Love you, Meanie K. Bye.
Dude. So the witness number 3, I assume, I think it's gonna be that dude that was in the police precinct, man, that was saying that Rick Ross is gay and DJ Khaled is gay. All these guys has been doing some Diddy work, and Diddy had me as a sex slave and all this stuff. I think it's gonna be him. But no matter what, it's time, man, 4 more days, dog. It's less than 4 days for y'all, because I'm in the Philippines. 4 more days, man. We about to find out something about to happen. I wonder what's happening. I haven't heard too much. Results in multiple homicide hours versus bus driver. Oh my God. Hey, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Angie Stone, what's happening with the Angie Stone situation? I would love to know. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Y'all tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.